Without the Endangered Species Act and the recovery of otters that it's fostered, we would probably be looking at a barren landscape.
So the organization that I chose to follow in this video is an organization called Earthjustice, and they are a non-profit environmental activist organization whose purpose is to advocate and promote a healthy environment for everyone, including animals and people. Through this organization, they conduct such things called casework, which is essentially how they solve an environmental issue using an attorney. And this specific case that I chose to follow is a case involving the preservation of otters. So just to give you a quick background, this case involves the preservation of otters, which I had already mentioned in the previous clip. And how this case came about was a certain fishery group wanted to impose a program called the No Otter Zone, which essentially means that it will be excluding otters from parts of their coastal habitat. However, this is not the best way to go, because if the otters were to be excluded, this will cause a devastating effect on parts of their ecosystem, partly because otters are the glue that holds this ecosystem together, and they help moderate effects of climate change. And they are called the Keystone Species, which I'll be getting to later in this video. But that's why they're very important to their ecosystem, because removing them would cause further damage. So some specific uses of language or jargon that was used in this, that was found on this organization's page, which are very important to how the activists approach their situation. One of them is the Keystone Species. I mean, that's like a scientific approach, and it is more environmental. So you know that their approach is going to be more environmental, biological. And essentially what that means is that it just describes the mammal, what kind of family the mammal belongs to, and it's a type of species that is very critical to the survival of other ecosystems. And another use of jargon that was used, but I didn't mention, was they mentioned about atmospheric CO2, about how otters can relevate these readings. CO2 just really relates to the chemical compound of carbon dioxide, and these were mentioned in the statistics portion of this organization's page. And another one that I kind of found is the word ill-conceived. I mean, this isn't used that very often. It's a very fancy way of saying goofy or foolish, but anyways, these pieces of language are very important to how this activist group works, because they use this language to engage a more mature audience, because some of these cases have been dealt with in the Supreme Court.